Howdy guys, how's it going? Hopefully pretty good. Today we are back in Minecraft and I have a banger for you. You are going to love this one. So subscribe if you like what you see. I'm Simply Stark and allow me to teach you how to teleport in survival Minecraft. So guys, to explain this, I'll pretty much just walk through how I happened upon it, how I experimented until I got some pretty interesting results. So this has everything to do with the brand new Ravager. So initially, I was just going to make like a tree farm or something, because these guys can destroy leaf blocks, might be interesting. But then I noticed that these guys have another ability, which is kind of cooler. So these guys can scream at you. Bit weird, but okay, whatever suits you. Yeah, these guys scream at you, but you actually could easily miss it, because it only actually activates under a specific situation, and that is if you've got a shield in your hand. So if you go into survival, this guy will try and attack you, and sometimes, not all the time, he'll actually get stunned, and he'll scream. This doesn't happen all the time, so we can do that again. Now, the interesting thing about this is if you're nearer to him, he'll actually knock you back, and this is the basis for this entire thing. I suppose my initial thought was, hey, maybe you could make some kind of pattern generator or something. I don't know, it might have been interesting. So basically all I did is I just put a Ravager in here, and I tried using armor stands. I like armor stands because they're sort of like non-mobs that pretend to be mobs. They sometimes behave the same, so I gave it a shot. So I placed some armor stands like this, and I went in survival, and I gave it a shot, and this is what happened. It knocked them in kind of like a perfect circle, which I thought was kind of interesting. So because this is kind of cool, and I was kind of surprised how far they went, I tried with blue ice. So yeah, we tried again with blue ice, and what happens? I wonder what happens. They go just a little bit further, and this is when I started thinking, hey, that's quite a distance, to be fair. I wonder what else this can do. So instead of placing these at ground level, we tried above the Ravager. And when I did this, something a little bit interesting happened. These guys went further. In fact, if you look at this guy went all the way over there. At this point, I was pretty impressed and thinking, well, okay, just how far can we take this mechanic? It seems that the closer and closer I got to the Ravager, the more extreme this effect became. That was until I tried this. When I placed an armor stand just directly above the Ravager on a carpet, something a little bit different happened. It vanished. It just vanished. Just like that. At first, I thought I'd broken it, but this didn't really make very much sense, because the scream actually does a flat 3 hearts damage, and none of the stands have been broken before now. No, it hadn't been destroyed. It had moved really, really far. So to explain what happened, because I did eventually find the stand, is the stand had actually received such a high knockback that it had been instantly accelerated to insanely high speeds. So this guy right here actually moved a whopping 400 blocks instantaneously. That is pretty crazy. So admittedly, I was starting to get pretty excited, because this had really great potential for many, many things. But there was a bit of a problem. See, this was actually proving very, very inaccurate. So every time I tried this, the stands always ended up somewhere a little bit different than they previously did. Sometimes wildly different. And this isn't great, because if you want something to be useful, it has to be pretty reliable and accurate. And this wasn't that. There was some kind of noise in the system, and I was trying to figure out what was causing it. Turns out that the problem was the Ravager itself. A little bit strange. To explain, if you want consistent results, you've got to have a consistent situation. And the problem was that every time that I baited the Ravager, his position was actually a little bit different every time. This affected the trajectory of the arm stands massively, so they ended up on completely different parts of the map. So to fix this, we basically need to take away some of the autonomy. We've granted him way too much freedom, and we need to confine him into something more consistent. So the solution is to just shove him like art. It's just as simple as that. So basically what we need is an unnatural accuracy in positioning. Now, you can't really get that from just like nudging around or anything, but minecarts are pretty good because, as you've probably noticed from playing the game, they actually automatically snap to the grid, so it'll automatically align him perfectly. This is great. And as soon as I did this, it fixed it immediately. It went from being very inconsistent to this time when I tried it, it pretty much just worked every time. Disappeared. Absolutely perfect. I guess my next question was, how much power do we actually have over this to control direction? Like, can we make it go north, south, east, west, as we choose? And the answer to that is yes, we can do that. And it's quite simple. Because minecarts can be rotated in any of the directions, the entity will actually fly in whatever direction the minecart is facing. It's quite simple, but there is a bit of a finickiness to it. So let's say our setup is something like this. If we give this a shot, this should work perfectly fine. It should work absolutely fine. It's cooperative, there you go. Absolutely fine. Now the problem arises when you try to change the direction, but it's not too hard to fix. Basically, if you just try to change the rail direction the easy way, like so, you'll see when I try again, if I can place him, his big head there, and we place an arm stand up here, you'll see that this time, unfortunately, it doesn't work. It doesn't move anywhere. So there are two ways that I found to fix this. The first is basically just use a corner rail instead of a horizontal rail. I'll explain what that means. So let's say that this is your current position, you want to change it to a different direction. All you got to do is take away these rails like here, change this rail right here to a corner state, and you'll see he moves a little bit. Get rid of this guy, and I suppose this guy as well. And when we do this time, we try that again, go into survival. This time it should work perfectly fine. There we go. Alternatively, and perhaps a little bit more accurately, you can basically just manually adjust it. So if your rail is currently positioned like this, you can essentially just get rid of like this, like so, move it a little bit, because it needs a bit of movement, put it back into position like that, and now it will be reset and it should work absolutely fine. Or you could just do something like this. You could move the Ravager to suit your needs. Now, the question that you're all asking is, does this work for players? So, place your bets. What do you think is going to happen if we try this ourselves? Is it going to work, or is it not going to work? Let's get this guy over here. Come on, guy. Let's do it. People need to see. Is it going to work? So the answer is that it's a bit complicated. And I will admit, for a while I was a little bit put out because I was thinking, oh, this isn't going to work for players. But I have found a solution, and I found a brilliant solution. You know what? 400 blocks is a pretty nice number. It's nice, it's fair, and it's very generous. But do you know something? I didn't bring you here. I did not make this video for 400 blocks. We can do better. I promised you teleportation. I will give you teleportation. There is a way to make this travel a little bit more than that. So, how does it work? Well, if we introduce something like a llama, or I guess you could use a horse or a pig, but we're going to use a llama because they're pretty nice to work with. If you introduce a llama, something a little bit different happens. So, if you just place them up here, oh, obviously it's a bloody baby. Okay, so baby Trouble's fixed there. Let's give this a whirl. Guys, you're really going to like this one. You are really going to like this one. I'm excited to show you. So, let's give it a shot. Now, before we do this, just look at the coordinates. So, if you look at the Z, we are at basically 300. Let's see what it becomes. Come on, guy. Be cooperative, please. Alright, hop on board. And just take a look at the Z. So, we're at 300. Where are we going to end up? So 300, it's going to take us all the way to minus 2,300. Now, if you are any good at maths, that is 2,600 blocks travelled almost instantaneously. That is pretty impressive. Oh, you think we're done, do you? Well, no, we actually can squeeze a little bit more out of it. So knockback is basically just horizontal movement. So if you can stay in the air for a little bit longer, you can go a little bit further. So if we actually just throw a splash potion, a potion of slow falling onto this llama, we'll actually get more distance covered. So let's just try it again. So there we go. Let's give this a whirl. Jump on board. Remember, we're at 300. So let's take a look. How far is it going to take us this time? So 300, we're going to the minuses this time. It's going to take us all the way to 2,500. So basically that is 2,800 blocks to us. You can squeeze an extra 200 blocks. Though it should be noted, if you just build this in the sky, you don't actually need a splash potion because it will just naturally give you those numbers regardless. Of course, the great thing about this is if you don't want to go the full 2,800 blocks, you can stop at any point along the journey because it's just knockback. As soon as an entity actually bumps into something, it will just immediately come to a halt. And I can show you this. You can see over there, we actually have a little thing to stop us. So if we just give that an example. There we go. Jump on board. And you can see we actually only went this far this time because we got stopped. In fact, if you were really clever, you could even build loads of these terminals and pick before you travelled which one you want to end up at. Like you could use a lectern or something to control it. That would be really, really cool. But you know what? I think what I like most about this is just how affordable it is. It doesn't really cost anything to run except from shield durability, and that's easier a bit. I mean, yes, the Ravager is a little bit tricky to get, but once you got him, it's practically free to use. Compare this to something like, I don't know, like a TNT-powered cannon. I don't know if that's possible, but that would cost a lot of TNT to create the force. I don't know. I only have one request from you. Please don't tell Moyak, because they want to take it away from us, and, you know, this would be really nice to have. So let's just keep this between you and me for now, right? But guys, that's pretty much all there is to it. I hope you found this video useful. Personally, I think this is one of the most useful things I've ever shown on this channel, like, legitimately. But that might be me. Who knows? I hope you enjoyed. If you ever want any channel updates, you can always follow me on Twitter, at SimplySuck. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed. Cheers for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.